Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at some multiple choice questions in PAT 2017. I will talk through the working process and how to approach each question.
So, in the first question, we are given y in terms of x, and we are required to differentiate y with respect to x. So if we look at the formula, we can see that it is actually a product of 2x and cos x. So we need to use product rule in this question. 2x we will differentiate to 2, and cos x is going to be minus sin x. So if we use product rule, that's going to be 2 times cos x plus 2x times minus sin x, which is minus 2x sin x. So the correct answer is D. Question 2. Which equation has the same solutions as a given quadratic? So if we look at those options, we can see that all of them have been factorized. So we are going to do the same to the given quadratic. So first of all, let's factor a 2 out. So we will have 2 lots of x squared minus x minus 6 equals to 0. Now, we are going to factorize what's inside the bracket. We have x squared, which is the product of 2 x's. And then we have minus 6, which should be factored into minus 3 and 2, because minus 3 plus 2 equals to minus 1, which is the coefficient of x term. So now we can write the quadratic as 2 times x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals to 0. We can cancel the coefficient 2 because it's 0 on the other side. After doing that, we can see that A is the correct answer. Now, question 3. By reading the question, we can see that we are required to sum up a series. We also know that it is a geometric progression, because each subsequent term is multiplied by the same factor. Now, we can write down the formula to sum up a geometric progression, noticing that it is not a sum to infinity, so the formula should be s equals to a1, which is the first term, over 1 minus r is the common ratio, times 1 minus r to the power of n is how many terms are being summed up. We can calculate a1 by putting n equals to 0 into the general formula. When n equals to 0, a1 equals to minus e to the minus 1, or to the power of 0, which is just 1. R is the common ratio, which is just what's inside the bracket. N is how many terms we are adding up. So we are summing up from 0 to 10. So n is 10 minus 0 plus 1, which is 11. So now we are putting everything back into S. So S equals to 1 minus common ratio, since we have another minus sign in front of that, so that's going to be 1 plus e to the minus 1, and times 1 minus r to the n. We have 11 terms, so r to the power of 11 is going to be minus e to the power of minus 11. Since we have 2 minus sign in the front, that's going to be equal to 1 plus e to the minus 11. So in the end, s equals to 1 plus e to the minus 11 over 1 plus e to the minus 1. So E is the correct answer. Question 4. Now let's have a look at the question. It says, A and B both real and positive, and A not equal to B, and we got to solve for x. When you look at the equation, you may realize that x is actually in the exponent. So how can we do that? Well, if you look at the question again, it says A and B are both real and positive. It implies that you are allowed to take a logarithm on both sides. Noticing what's inside the log is in the form of a product, so we can actually split them into 2 logs. So we can write them as log a to the power of 3 minus x plus log b to the power of 5x equals to log a to the power of 5 plus x and plus log b to the power of 3x. And we can take the exponents down, which will give 3 minus x loss of log a plus 5x loss of log b equals to 5 plus x loss of log a plus 3x loss of log b. In this question, we are going to solve for x. So let's put all the terms with x on the left and the rest on the right. All the x terms have minus x log a, 5x log b, and on the right we have x log a and 3x log b. If we move them on the left, we have minus 2x log a plus 2x log b. On the right, we have 5 log a minus 3 log a. If we factor x out, we will have x times 2 log b minus 2 log a. On the right, we have 2 log a. To solve for x, we can move the constant from the left to the right. So x equals to 2 log a over 2 log b minus 2 log a, and 2 can be cancelled on both top and bottom of the fraction. So that means x equals to log a over log b minus log a. This means D is the correct answer. Question 5. Instead of working out each integral, we can actually use the property of an odd function. Having a look at the upper and lower limit of each integral, we can see that they are two opposite numbers. Obviously, positive and negative infinity are not numbers, but you get what I mean. Now, I'm going to plot a graph of fx against x. Fx is going to be an odd function, and I'm going to find the area under the graph, which is the integral of fx, between minus a and a. You can see that the odd function is symmetrical about the origin. So the area below the x-axis should be the same as the one above x-axis. Therefore, the integral should be 0. Now, let's look at the first integral, x cubed, which is a polynomial with odd power. So that is an odd function. The second integral, if you put x in, you will get e to the power of minus x squared. And if you put minus x in, you will get e to the minus all squared, which is e to the minus x squared. So that's actually an even function. The third integral, if you put x in, you will get x times sine x. But if you put minus x in, you will get minus x times sine minus x. According to trig identity, you can put the minus sign outside, so two minus signs can be cancelled, which will give x times sine x. So that is an even function. The fourth integral, if you put x in, you will be given x times cos x. And if you put minus x in, you will get minus x times cos minus x. According to trig identity, cos minus x is equal to cos x. So that will give you minus x cos x. So that is an odd function. We know that we can only choose odd functions to integrate. Therefore, B is the answer. Question 6. If you have done lots of graph plotting questions, you should know that it is actually 1 over a quadratic equation. It doesn't matter if you don't know why. I'm going to talk through the process of how to solve this problem. The most noticeable features of this graph is two vertical asymptotes, and they are at x equals to minus 3 and x equals to 1. So that means if we put those two values of x into those functions, one of the denominators should be 0. So let's look at option A. If we put minus 3 into the function, the denominator of the second term is going to be 0. And if we put 1 into the function, the first denominator is going to be 0. So A potentially can be the answer. Option B. If we put x equals to 1 into the denominator, we will have 1 minus 2 plus 3, and we know that that's not going to be 0, so B is not the answer. Option C. If we put x equals to 1 into the denominator, we will have 1 plus 2 minus 3 equals to 0. And if we put x equals to minus 3 into the denominator, we will have 9 minus 6 minus 3 equals to 0. So C could be the answer. Option D. When x equals to 1, the first denominator is going to be 0. When x equals to minus 3, the second denominator is going to be 0. However, D cannot be the potential correct answer, because when you put x equals to minus 1 into the first denominator, it is also going to be 0. But x equals to minus 1 is not a vertical asymptote in the graph. Option E. If you put x equals to 1 into the denominator, x squared minus 9 is not going to be equal to 0, so E is not the answer. Now, we've ruled out 3 possible answers, and what's left behind is just A and C. The question also gives us a special point, which is 0 and minus third. So let's put that in and see whether the point is on the function. In option A, when x equals to 0, the function equals to 1 over 0 minus 1 plus 2 over 0 plus 3. So that is minus 1 plus 2 thirds, which is minus thirds. In option C, when we put x equals to 0 into the function equals to 1 over 0 plus 0 minus 3. So that will give minus 1 third. So, what do we do now? We can't really tell which answer is correct from the point given by the question. I'm going to choose x equals to minus 1. If you put x equals to minus 1 into option A, you will find 1 over minus 1 minus 1 plus 2 over minus 1 plus 3. And that's going to be minus half plus 1, which is going to be greater than 0. But according to the graph, we can see that when x equals to minus 1, the function should be below the x-axis, which means that it should be smaller than 0. So A is not the right answer, and C is the correct answer.
That's all for the first 6 multiple choice questions in PAT 2017. You may notice that they are all math questions. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about questions 7 to 12, which are the physics questions. So make sure you subscribe this channel so you won't miss anything. See you in the next video.